Said one of the many Cesar Chavez statues in California has come down. This is the site in San Fernando where his bronze statue was removed after the allegations came out. Sacramento's annual Cesar Chavez March is now canceled. A video of last year's march. Organizers say they are shifting resources to other events supporting immigrants and workers. Right now, California lawmakers are proposing a new Farm Workers Day to replace Cesar Chavez Day, celebrating all of those who contribute to California's ag economy. It'll be celebrated on the 31st of this month. Governor Newsom says he supports this.
Yeah. Call you later.
Hey, welcome to Boomer vs. X. Come on, come all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that alert button. You wanted the best? Well, now you're going to get the best. Hello, Boomer. How you doing?
How's it going? Hey, let me ask you something. If we're the best, we're screwed, aren't we? We're all screwed if we're the best. This is what you got. Thank you to all the new subscribers and the ones that keep coming back. I have a little girl knocks on my door every day at the front door, and I ask her, Maria, what's going on? She's crying. She goes, Mr. Garcia, you don't have any subscribers. So subscribe so Maria can eat. She's on a fasting. She doesn't have a frijole to eat. Because we don't have any subscribers, so do it for Maria. Don't do it for me. Do it for Maria.
Well, you better watch out with Maria. Otherwise, you may be accused of sexual misconduct.
Oh, boy, no, not that one. Oh, who did they do it this time? Who's the latest victim?
Julio Cesar Chavez. That's what today's show is going to be about.
Okay.
I just want to take the opportunity to say to the audience and to you, the Julio Cesar Chavez is innocent. Completely innocent. What do you think, Boomer?
I still am under the impression that we have a constitution and we have a due process. We have a system of laws, and we got it from the English that it's innocent until proven guilty. And so far, all I've heard is allegation, not evidence, not here's the proof, here's the videotape, here's the this, here's the that, here are the pictures. No, it's an allegation. We talked to some 80-year-old broad. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's 96.
She's 95, and the other women are in their 70s and 80s, and we're taking their word for it just because they told the story. The guy's been dead for 30-something years. He was in the public spotlight for decades. He was surrounded by people, photographs, cameras, you name it, bodyguards, politicians, and you don't have nothing? Just a story of some, and these women are alcoholics, and they're heroin addicts in out of rehab, and you're taking their story? Disgruntled women that he fired?
Allegedly. Let's say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
but he fired a lot of people. He dismantled his organization. He started a new organization. He got rid of people. A lot of people are pissed off at him because he got rid of him. He was a union boss. He was an old style that you don't see anymore. You do not. A 25, 30-year-old is not going to know what you and I know. The old union bosses. Cesar Chavez was the last of them.
Let's see what evidence they have. So this all surfaced through New York Times Post. Let's take a look.
Yeah, the New York Times, a real credible newspaper. Great.
The Times spoke at length with Ms. Huerta, the renowned Latina activist who helped run the Farm Workers Union with Mr. Chavez and coined the social justice rallying cry, Si se puede, loosely translated is yes, we can. She said she has held on to this dark secret for nearly 60 years. Now get a load of this, Boomer. One night during the winter of 1966 in Delano, California, she said Mr. Chavez drove her out to a secluded grape field, parked and raped her inside the vehicle, Miss Huerta, who was 36 at the time, that she chose not to report the assault to police because of their hostility towards the movement, and she feared that no one within the union would believe her. She also described an earlier encounter in August in 1960 when she said she had felt pressured to have sex with them in a hotel room during a work trip in San Juan Capistrano in Southern California. So my take on this is they get in the car, they drive out to a secluded area, and they have sex. Now, we're just going to believe her that he nefariously drove her out to this secluded area and had his way with her?
In 1960s, he was already with the grape strikes. He was already introduced to the Kennedys. He was already a public figure. No one saw him. No one noticed. And besides, this Huerta woman, I saw her give a speech at Santa Monica High School in the 1970s. She hasn't stopped. She's 100 years old, and she has her picture everywhere. Every microphone she can get her hands on, she speaks into. Every time she can get her picture in the paper, she has been jealous of Cesar Chavez ever since the beginning.
Let's talk about the accusation. How many men do you know who have had sex in the car? How many men do you know who have been married, who were married or had girlfriends, cheated by having sex with the woman in the car?
Was Cesar Chavez a womanizer? Probably. Lots of men in power are womanizers. But to accuse him of the ultimate sin of child violation, that's a leap, my God. What the hell are you doing?
So I'm asking you, where's the proof that he raped her in this car? How do we know that she wasn't a willing participant?
Exactly. How do we know it wasn't consensual?
Exactly.
Look at all the people that have been accused, exonerated years later. This isn't anything that's a secret that women do. Women do this to men often. Look at all the divorce cases. What's the first thing the woman does to accuse the husband? Oh, he touched my kid. It's a custody case. Duh. Women do this. But why now? Because she's near death and she wants to secure her legacy, not his. That was supposed to be her history.
Well, it was her legacy. It was her history. That's what's so confusing. So she also described an earlier encounter in August 1960 when she felt pressured to have sex with them in a hotel room during a work trip in San Juan Capistrano in Southern California. She felt pressured? I mean, it sounds to me like they were in a hotel room, if this story is in fact true, and they had consensual sex. How do we know it wasn't consensual? Where's the proof that it wasn't?
How can you prove something like that?
You can't.
It's a 60-year-old story. More. How can you prove it? And the man is dead. He can't even deny it. He can't even defend himself. Now you come out with that story?
And you can't prove it. You can't prove it, especially with the lack of technology in 1960.
Show me the DNA evidence. Show me the dirty underwear. Show me the pictures. Show me the bruises. Show me the photograph. Show me the police report. Show me something.
But that doesn't prove abuse. Having DNA evidence doesn't prove abuse. It just proves that they had sex. So even if they had DNA evidence, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove a crime.
And it goes beyond this. It goes into, he was a child violator? I've dealt with dozens of child violators. Dozens of them. And you know what thing they have in common? They're insatiable. They never stop.
Can't stop.
So two women accuse him of child violence? No, it should be 30, 300. Dozens and dozens of little girls that he did this to.
And by the way,
if he was a child violator, he would have done it again and again and again.
And by the way, Ms. Huerta later began a long-term domestic partnership with Mr. Chavez's brother, Richard.
With his brother.
With whom she had 4 children with.
Come on.
Yeah, she doesn't seem very credible to me.
Well, she's credible to the left. She's credible to the Democrats.
So she describes being stunned by Mr. Chavez's aggression and then numb to it. She framed her silence at the time not as an absence of pain, but as a kind of strategic necessity, particularly as a woman fighting for respect in the male-dominated world of the 1960s union organizing. Now her accusation shatters what was widely celebrated and seemingly egalitarian bond between two of the most influential Hispanic activists in history. And she quotes herself as saying, "Unfortunately, he used some of his great leadership to abuse women and children. It's really awful," Mrs. Huerta says. Well, so now they take it into him abusing children. And the only evidence that they have is a letter that a 13-year-old girl sent him. And I read the letter, and there's nothing in that letter that indicates that he abused her.
Nothing. You touch me there. I don't want to take my clothes off. Nothing. Nothing. It's a stupid, silly little girl letter. That's your proof? And it says throughout the article, we have emails, we have videotapes, we have tapes of meetings. Where? I want to see them. I want to hear them. Where?
Yeah. The
Where are
letter
they?
was written by a 13-year-old girl named Debbie Rojas. It's a letter written by a girl that is smitten. And she goes on to say how he had groomed her. But there's no evidence in this letter. It's just a letter from a little girl that's smitten.
Where's the letter from him to her? Because these sons of bitches, if they're really groomers, they will write to them. They will call them. They will send them toys and games and little clothes. I've seen it. This is how they do it. I've dealt with them face to face. I've dealt with them. And they have a whole system.
There is no letter. There is only accusation from Miss Rojas stating that he made statements to her, saying that to stay away from other boys because he'd get jealous. He told her that the Flamingo song, I Only Have Eyes for You, was their song. That he told her, just remember that I love you.
He told her. It's he said, she said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's journalism? That's journalism? You call that journalism? Nick Shirley is a better journalist than these assholes.
So that's it. There's no evidence. There's nothing. There's just accusations. That's all there is. Accusations. There's no evidence. So even if Chavez was known to be this wild, crazy guy, and he would go, oh, I'm not surprised, that guy was wild, I still wouldn't believe any of this because there's no evidence. Can't condemn the guy without evidence.
The guy was born on a dirt floor. He was uneducated. He went to the Navy. He wasn't a Harvard grad. He didn't grow up in Martha's Vineyard or Beverly Hills. He grew up in the farm fields. No shoes. And you don't expect him to be rough? And he went into the union business, the most rough and tumble, I'm going to beat your brains out, dealing with the mafia's business. And these old guys, a 20-year-old is not going to know what I'm talking about, but I met these old guys, and they're all dead. They were rough. They were in your face, and they would beat your head in with a baseball bat because they fought for their workers. They fought for the union dues, they fought for the money, and they fought for the fucking worker. They knew they had to beat the crap out of the employer because the employer wanted you to work 20 hours a day until you died. For 20 cents an hour. That's how it was.
Some of them even ended up dead. Some of them just ended up disappeared.
Jimmy Hoffa was a rough and tumble. Meanie, I can still see Meanie from the AFL-CIO. Who the fuck do you think you're fucking talking to? That's these guys. Cigar chomping, cigar smoking, beer drinking guys. That was Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez was the last of that breed. And who did he go up against? The largest food corporations in the freaking world. One Mexican little guy went up against that. You do it. You do it. Politely. Oh, pretty please.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the new Latino. The Latino whose parents were not born here. Because I believe all of this started and came into fruition because of an X post that was posted not too long ago. Probably about 3 weeks ago. I think a lot of people don't really have a grasp on history. And in their minds, Julio Cesar Chavez was this guy who was woke, who was okay with illegal immigration. The lines can get blurred. He was a staunch for gay rights, probably one of the first. I think that people who aren't that really educated in history were a bit surprised by what they heard a few weeks ago. And that's that Cesar Chavez didn't support illegal immigration. He supported the American worker. And every time you have an illegal alien come into this country illegally, that's a job that's taken away from an American worker. Cesar Chavez went on strike. They would hold the line. They would be striking. They would be in the picket line. And these companies, to keep the money machine rolling, would hire scabs. And who were those scabs? They were illegal aliens. My mother, she used to protest with Cesar Chavez. My mother is a former Democrat, former bleeding heart liberal. She told me a story. She was with Cesar Chavez. They were striking, and a bunch of illegal aliens got dropped off to take their spot. Cesar Chavez went to his car. He opened the trunk of his car, and he took out a bunch of baseball bats. Him and his buddies walked on over and proceeded to beat the hell out of the scabs. They chased them away. My mom was mortified, and she never marched with Cesar Chavez again, because she was under the impression that he supported illegal aliens. He did it. Let's take a look at some new Latinos who have turned against Cesar Chavez.
Surprising to hear this, but I want to make things very clear. I haven't been a fan of Cesar Chavez for decades because he was actually very anti-immigrant. So if you read the actual story of Cesar,
he wasn't anti-immigrant. He was anti-illegal immigrant. They always get that twisted.
Exactly.
Chavez, if you read the tactics that him and his family and some of the UFW workers did, then you would find out that even though he did lead the cause for Latinos and for Filipinos a lot, then but fortunately, in the immigration issue, he was actually very bad. He would probably be a MAGA supporter if he were alive today. And it's
Yes, he would be. He would be a MAGA supporter if he were alive today.
Okay. He was anti-war, marched against the Vietnam War. He was very much for women's rights. He was the first Union president, if I remember correctly, to espouse gay rights. In 1970, he was for homosexuals' rights. Is that a MAGA supporter? That is not way near a MAGA supporter.
What are you talking about? MAGA supporters
The
support gay
only
rights.
thing that he agreed with Donald Trump, and I don't think he ever met him, he couldn't stand illegal scab breakers, which the farmers brought in by the truckload from Mexico to break the strike. Illegal aliens.
No, MAGA
taking away his
supporters,
jobs.
MAGA supporters support gay rights.
Well, I'm just saying.
All right, let's continue.
And you know what? He probably would be a Trump supporter for the economy to sell more food for the world. Of course he would be.
He'd probably be wearing one of those red hats. What are you talking about? All right, man. You're getting all hopped up. It's ruining your frame of thought.
important for no, but I do want to put a caveat in here, and just like a lot of people, I've seen Governor Abbott.
Trump lets Bruce Jenner use the bathroom. What are you talking about?
Judge him today. We've seen a lot of people come out against them. Maybe they should use the same measurement tool to measure the pedophile that's in the White House right now, who has the same allegations that they're now putting.
All right, there you go. You just said it. There you go. So
accuse him of that with no evidence. Accuse that man. I would not dare accuse him. As much as I disagree with him and I dislike him, I would never, as one man to another man, accuse him of being a child violator. Ever.
So why does this always go to Trump? I'm asking.
It's an obsession. It's an insane obsession these guys have. They think that's a tarnishment. To put you with Donald Trump is going to tarnish you in some way. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
in their mind.
I thought we were talking about Julio Cesar Chavez. Now we're talking about the PDF file in the Oval Office.
This is this new Latino, this anchor baby. His parents are illegal aliens. His grandparents are illegal aliens. That's the danger of allowing illegal aliens to breed in your country. They breed that. I've met
I don't know where
those
his parents
guys.
are born.
Any Latino I talked to in California under the age of 30 is the most vehemently anti-American, anti-white. They want to destroy the country by opening the border. They want open borders to flood the country. The new Latino, the young Latino, 30 and under, 35, is the most dangerous population that the country has. The enemy is here. That is the enemy. He will open the borders and destroy the United States because he has no allegiance to the United States. They wave the Mexican flag. Their roots don't go down like yours and mine do. They go sideways.
All the Democrat voters want open borders, all of them. So if you put Democrats in power, the borders will
That's
open.
what you're going to get.
And that's what you're going to get. Now, to be fair, I don't know where this guy's parents are from. I have no clue.
They're not legal, I bet you.
I don't know. I have no clue where this guy's parents are from. I don't know if they were born in the States. I don't know if they were born on Mars. I have no clue.
Why is he advocating for illegal aliens and not American citizens? He doesn't have any roots in the country. He doesn't love the country. You wouldn't be advocating for a foreign country?
Yeah,
for a foreign power?
You would think. I mean, look, man, a lot of kids, a lot of millennials and Zoomers believe in open borders and their parents were born here. Yeah, I don't know where this guy's parents are born. If I had to put money on it, they weren't born in the States. I'm just saying, I have no clue.
Against Cesar Chavez, which is, there's no excuse for either Cesar Chavez, but there shouldn't be an excuse either for Donald Trump.
All right, Norma, let's hear from you and your thoughts about this situation.
Yeah, I definitely echo Cesar's feelings. I agree. I think corruption is rampant everywhere. And I believe that, we should bring people to justice.
With evidence. You bring people to justice with evidence.
Accuse her father of that. Accuse her brother, her uncle
Yes.
of that with no proof. And she's going to sing a different tune. She's going to sing a different tune. Trust me.
Accuse her precious baby little boy.
Yes, accuse her
that.
son. Accuse her son of that. Let's see if
But you know what?
she's okay with that.
But you know what? And I don't know this for sure, but I would bet money that if she's ever in a custody battle, it's not beneath her, like a lot of women statistically, to accuse her ex-significant other of abuse towards the children.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't this chick look like somebody Charlie Kirk would have argued with?
She probably did. I hate Charlie Kirk.
And it shouldn't matter who it is. I don't agree with the Cesar Chavez events being canceled because I do believe this would have been an opportunity to uplift the voices of survivors. I would have said, let them come and let them hear us. And so I do think that we should use this moment to acknowledge and recognize the power imbalances that exist even now in our movements.
All right, Ivan.
Why? There's no evidence.
Even here, Governor Abbott canceled Cesar Chavez Day. A Republican, hardcore Republican governor all of a sudden went nuts and canceled this guy from history. A Republican conservative did that.
Hey,
Isn't that crazy?
Governor Greg Abbott is a bit of a hero of mine because of his genius idea of rounding up illegal aliens, putting them on school buses, and sending them to liberal cities. But didn't he have like a big piece of property in Texas where they were sending illegals?
Yeah, and they were buying land and building houses. And
what was that all about?
It's kind of shady. I don't know whatever happened about it, but I think it's kind of like shady that the cartels were in there. It was a mess. I didn't read about it that much. Yeah, it was down like around Houston area, somewhere in there, down south. All these cartels came and started building houses. All the illegal aliens started building houses. Yeah, it was a thing. We're wondering where all that money is going into. Where is all that money coming from, and where is it going? Yeah.
Why didn't he put them on a bus? Let's continue.
Let's hear from you.
Well, shout out to Dolores Huerta. 60 years later.
Shout out to Dolores Huerta.
Shout out to the fucking bitch who 60 years later is trying to erase his legacy and replace it with hers.
Yeah,
Great.
what a cuck. What a simp. What
and look
a
at him. Look at him.
simp.
He's the new Latino, 30 and under, with no roots to the country. He wouldn't fight for the country. You
No.
think that those guys would fight for the country? No way.
Well, it's stolen land.
Still standing up, still using her voice. And the Latino community, I believe, at large is in pain. But pain does not give an excuse just to hide.
No, I'm Latino, and I'm in pain that you guys have taken a great man and burned his legacy in front of our eyes over allegations with no evidence.
I don't have Cesar Chavez on my wall. I never admired him in that way. I never was in awe of him, but I respected him because I know what he did. And I am of that age that I know where he came from and what he did and the struggle he went through. I know how hard it was for him, but I'm not an admirer. He's not an Abraham Lincoln to me as a Latino, but I respected him. I respected him because I know what he did, and it was hard.
I am an admirer of Julio Cesar Chavez. I saw him speak in 92, 93. He was riddled with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
He needed help walking.
Yeah.
And I saw him speak. And he had a presence. You saw this little withered man, riddled to his bone with cancer.
Okay.
And he still commanded this presence. He was a great man. Look, we're not perfect. We are all dirty, rotten, stinking, filthy sinners, which is why Christ came down to this earth to die for our sins. That's why he went through all the pain, grief, fear, and suffering being nailed to that cross so that we could have a chance of eternal life. Jimmy Hoffa was shady. Jimmy Hoffa did a lot of under-the-table shit, and I admire the man. I admire Jimmy Hoffa. I admire Julio Cesar Chavez. Do you know why? Because my whole life, since the age of 13, I've had a job because I have no money. I don't come from money. I delivered papers. I made sandwiches. I worked with flower bouquets. I cleaned toilets. I fixed sprinklers. You name it, and I've done it. So these men are heroes to me because they fought for better working conditions for the blue-collar guy.
And it was a fight. It was a war. You look at the history of the labor movement in the country, and people actually got killed. The coal miner strikes, the railroad strikes, people got murdered. The farm worker strikes, those were violent strikes.
Beaten to death.
And all so that when I first started, the minimum wage was what, $2 an hour, $3 an hour?
Well, that's gotten out of hand now in some of these blue states.
You know, all these young people that go into the workforce today, all the labor laws, the 8-hour work, the no child labor, it's because of the freaking union. People who lived and died to change the laws.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Hoffa.
He fought because DDT was sprayed on his farm workers. Who else was doing that?
My uncle and my aunt, they're dead. They died a few years ago of leukemia. And when they were young, they worked in the fields picking grapes. My uncle died in 2016. And then my aunt, his wife, died exactly 1 year later. They sprayed all that shit on them.
They got showered every day with DDT until Cesar Chavez banned it.
Yeah. And I got these clowns up here.
Look at them. Nice and clean in suits and ties in an air-conditioned office building with nice cars, with nice houses.
And you got these clowns here accusing him of the most heinous shit imaginable. Let's see what this lady has to say.
If we can say about this. My questioning again is why? Why at this point? Why after, like Dolores Huerta, 66 years after the fact, 33 years after, there is a plan behind this, and I'm just defending the real victims because this is the reasons why so many women are not trusted.
Ivan, I saw you react.
Hey, she brings up a good point. Why after all these years? Now, Cesar Chavez never fired Huerta, but they had a tumultuous relationship. She blew her top a few times and left the organization. And by the way, Julio Cesar Chavez tried to talk to her. Come back. We can work these differences out. We need you. And she refused to come back. Why? Was she jealous? Was she resentful? And if she was abused, show me the proof.
The rapidity that this man has been erased from all living history. Gone. Like a ghost. They are not just erasing Cesar Chavez. They're erasing you and me. This is the death, the coffin of the old guard Mexican American, the old guard that would pick up a rifle and defend the nation, the United States, and replacing it with those guys.
We can't.
That's all this is. It's an erasure of the old institutional American, Mexican American, patriotic, against illegal immigration, and replacing them with this. This is the replacement theory in action. This is the replacement theory that the Democrats said, no, it's a farce. This is the replacement theory. Boom, chop the statues, change the names. You're gone. You're replaced with that.
We can't let these guys take over. If we let these clowns take over, we no longer exist.
You and I don't exist anymore. We have been replaced by those guys. Anti-American open borders guys. That's what the Democratic Party wants.
That's what they want.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about her saying, why now? Why well after his death?
Well, I know Carmen is a survivor of domestic violence or whatnot, and there's a lot of cases where women will bottle up these issues. They don't know where to go. I think Dolores was keeping all her feelings in for a while because it was just...
You think, but you have no proof.
Done with these guys. I'm done with these guys.
It was greater. It was for an entire movement. But judging a woman for coming out now, even 60 years later, 100 years later, it doesn't matter. Her story counts and it's valid. So we shouldn't just throw it away because it's some type of political scheme or something like that, which we should protect women at all costs.
As a hero. They should have talked at the time he died. Because I remember when he died, it was like this big hero died. That was the time to come and out and tell the truth. He was no hero, but they stayed quiet for another 33 years. That's my point.
And Cesar, for those...
Yeah, so we're asking for proof. We're not discounting anybody's situation.
What was the big scandal last year? Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. And Tucker Carlson. They're anti-Semitic. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? That's all people were saying. Where's the proof he's anti-Semitic? Tucker Carlson is against the Jews. And Candace, where's the fucking proof? That's all it was. Where's the proof?
But you should have proof. If you're going to call someone a racist, anti-Semite, you should have proof.
You got to prove it.
You got to prove it.
But this, just an accusation with no proof, he's gone.
I thought we were over the Me Too movement. I mean, didn't we learn from Amber Heard and Johnny Depp? Didn't we learn from Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh?
You would think. You would think.
But
I thought
why
we
now?
were all entitled to due process. Where is the due process people? Where are those due process people, huh? Where was Cesar Chavez's due process? Where is it?
But why now? It can only be left up to an opinion. My opinion is, and I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but I believe that attention is like crack cocaine to a woman. I believe that she was always jealous and resentful of Julio Cesar Chavez. She probably has resented him for a long time, was jealous that he got the bulk of the recognition, and she wants attention. So now that this man has been dead for 33 years, she figures, hey, I'm gonna change the truth a little bit and accuse this guy of a heinous action, and I will be the talk of the town. I will be a guest on every talk show.
Her legacy was already cemented. She is a hero. Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez and all those, the Filipinos and the blacks and the Japanese.
But now, no.
And the poor whites are heroes that fought.
But she had
Go
to
look at
share,
the working conditions they lived
But
under.
she had to share that. She had to share it. Now it's all hers.
Yeah, now it's all hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Julio Cesar Chavez's life. By the way, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that alert button.
Do it for little Maria.
Do it for Dolores Huerta.
Yeah, do it for Dolores Huerta. She'll love the attention.
She'll love the attention.
Cesar Estrada Chavez, an American civil rights activist and labor leader, was a first-generation American. He was born on March 31, 1927, near his family's small homestead outside Yuma, Arizona. The Chavez family lost their Arizona homestead in the Great Depression, and in the late 1930s moved to Northern California. Cesar and his family became migrant farm workers, thrust into the industrialized agriculture of California. Cesar dropped out of school after the 8th grade to help support his family by working in the fields.
Dropped out of school.
Cesar joined the Navy right after World War II.
He was a veteran.
He dropped out of school with no education. He became a veteran, and you don't expect him to be rough and tumble? Working in those living? Did you see that? Nothing but desert and sand and dirt. That was his life. That's where he came from. You pink-haired, nose ring, 2-story house motherfucker playing your video games.
And here you
that's
have
hardship.
his. And
that
here
you'll never know.
you have his family. Look at that little boy right there. You're calling him a grapist. You're calling him a groomer with no proof. That's who you're doing that to. That little boy right there.
After the Navy, Chavez returned to the field and became a grassroots organizer for a Latino civil rights group. He then left the group to form the National Farm Workers Association, now known as the United Farm Workers of America, with a goal of unionizing farm workers. Cesar believed that the movement he found had to be more than just a union that was solely concerned with improving wages, hours, and working conditions, although the UFW certainly did that. But it also needed to address the crippling dilemmas the farm workers faced in the community after they came home from work. Most farm workers were poor and didn't have access to quality.
Look at that, under the hot sun.
Under the hot sun, being sprayed with DDT, back-breaking work, using utensils, child labor. The children would get injuries, run over by tractors, sprayed at the age of 9 by a poison. Back-breaking work, and you would get paid 20 cents an hour. You would go live in a shed with no toilet.
And let's be perfectly clear. These right here, these people that you see in this picture, they're Americans. They're not
Americans.
illegal.
Filipinos, Japanese, blacks, and poor whites.
They're not illegal aliens. They're Americans.
Housing, healthcare, or education.
And there's a shack. There's a shack they live in.
Chavez was adamant that his new union follow a strict policy of using only non-violent tactics as a means of negotiation. While the organization was still in its infancy, UFW embarked upon one of the most influential boycotts in U.S. history, the boycott of all California table grapes. Cesar had studied history. He knew that farm worker strikes were crushed and that California's powerful agricultural industry controlled much of rural California. Cesar knew he needed to take the fight from the fields, where the odds were stacked against the farm workers, and move it to the cities. Over the next few years,
this guy went on hunger strikes. This guy didn't eat for over a month.
By Cesar Chavez, the farm workers would boycott, protest, march, and fast their way to a collective bargaining agreement, which guaranteed field workers, among other things, increased pay and the right to unionize. As the head of the United Farm Workers of America, labor rights was not the only cause championed by Chavez.
There you go. There's the man who they have destroyed, who's been dead for 33 years, who has not the ability to defend themselves.
Did their grandfathers do that? Their great-grandfathers do that? No, he did it. Along with other people, Dolores Huerta and everybody else, they did it. What have these anchor babies done? Nothing.
Well, they've done nothing
like that.
But when you look at the millennials and the Zoomers, what is their legacy going to be? That we forced Starbucks to allow us to wear nose rings and pink hair? Stop laughing, Boomer. This is not funny. Oh, gee. You want to keep going with this?
Just show the working conditions that they were fighting in.
All right. Well, I got other videos for that. Let's move on from this and move on to that.
$0.85 an hour maintains this poverty for the worker and his family.
Look at that.
85 cents an hour means hungry children in overcrowded rooms.
Look at that. One room.
It means
shack.
And outhouses.
A communal
no filtered
pipe
water
for
there.
85 cents an hour maintains palatial estates, swimming pools, and private airplanes for the growers. An Imperial County farm worker, a United States citizen, exiled by low wages to live on the Mexico side of the border. He has no furniture in his one-room home. He and his wife and his 2 children must sleep on the floor.
And when those kids are old enough, they're going to go pick the fields as well. When they turn 8.
Yeah.
On wages of 85 cents an hour, there is very little food for his family and no hope for the future. He has joined a union and has gone on strike against the powerful Imperial County growers. He needs help from the labor movement, from the public, and from the government.
And who came to his rescue? Cesar Chavez.
Most Imperial...
Yeah.
Who came to their rescue? Nobody else was doing it at the time. Nobody. Cesar Chavez and all the other people that were there. He was the leader. He took all the hits. He got all the death threats. He did it. He improved those people's. Those are American citizens, you goddamn anchor babies and Starbucks sons of bitches with pink hair. That's the life. A dirt floor with no toilet and no running water. That's reality.
Let's move on to the harvest of shame.
It is an American story that begins in Florida and ends in New Jersey and New York State with the harvest. It is a 1960 Grapes of Wrath that begins at the Mexican border in California and ends in Oregon and Washington. It is the story of men and women and children who work 136 days of the year and average $900 a year.
Look at the baby. Did you see the baby?
They travel in buses. They ride trucks. They follow the sun.
Well, I don't know. It don't look like we'll ever get ahead. I guess we'll just have to keep going till we can find something better.
A minister named Cassidy, who works with them, says,
they are just as bad as the slave. Only on name they are not a slave, but in the way they are treated, they are worse than the slave.
And this wasn't just Latinos. These were blacks, poor whites. It was the American farm worker who Julio Cesar Chavez saved.
And 80 cents an hour, 80 cents an hour, and they couldn't pay that? They couldn't pay a house? They couldn't pay a pension? Nothing? A floor? They had to import illegal aliens to work for 20 cents an hour? These greedy, cheap-ass motherfucking companies. Oh, they got these poor people living like slaves at slave wages in slave working conditions, and it's too expensive. You had to import illegal aliens to work for free, basically, for 5 cents an hour? Shameless. And who fought them? Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
And these guys are crapping on his memory? Erasing him from history?
Over allegations.
Over allegations.
Somebody has to make thousands of dollars out of his sweat. Is that a slave or not?
they are the migrants, workers in the sweatshops of the soil, the harvest of shame.
The Harvest of Shame.
This documentary started it all. This is a very famous documentary by Edward R. Murrow, who was the World War II correspondent. He did this, 1960, 1959. And this was the introduction of the plight of the farm worker. And Cesar Chavez came from there.
Let's take another look at some conditions.
Jefferson dreamed and wrote about as the backbone of our democracy. They work on great mechanized factories in the fields. They operate complicated machinery, just like any assembly line. But their wages are a third or half as much as those of factory workers. They are denied the protection of the minimum wage and hour law. They are denied the right to collective bargaining. They have no unemployment insurance. They have poor housing, poor food, poor sanitary conditions. They are the low men on the economic totem pole. They are the very old and the very young, men and boys, women and even children, white and black and brown. These Mexican workers picking tomatoes are paid less than was paid 10 years ago. They are paid about a third of what industrial workers get for their labor. Their wage is determined not by a traditional small farmer employing an occasional hired man. It is paid by a Bank of America farmer, by big business enterprises that control most of the tomato production
and Julio Cesar Chavez came in and he changed all of that. He saved those people.
Yes, through his collective bargaining and his contracts, he got the DDTs, pesticides, better pay, a pension plan. They have a pension plan now, and you're crapping on his memory over this?
Now, I want everybody to remember, to understand what the Democrats are doing, what the left progressives are doing. They're erasing a man from our history with no evidence, with no proof, purely and solely on allegations. Someone else tried to do that. Someone else did do that. His name was Joseph Stalin. Let's take a look at those tactics. Here you have a before and after picture. Notice the picture on the right, someone's missing?
Yeah.
They got rid of him.
Holy.
So that man who's missing on the right, there's no difference. That's Julio Cesar Chavez. They just erased. He never exists. They took the statues away. They took the streets away. They're doing exactly what Joseph Stalin did.
So their images were actually airbrushed out of official photographs, and when those photographs were published again, they were gone.
To avoid remembering important figures, Stalin had a group of government workers responsible to manipulate photographs. This censorship can be found today. Leon Trotsky was a major target. As one of the last surviving revolutionists of the Bolsheviks group before his assassination in 1940, Stalin was determined to erase him from history. In this picture taken in 1919, we can clearly see Lenin standing next to Trotsky amongst a large group of followers at the second anniversary of the revolution. Many reproductions have been used in books about Lenin, published in the 1960s, but none of them carry the image of Trotsky. There are photographs of this exact scene with obvious manipulation in the
I don't know you, comrade.
They got rid of him.
Yep.
This is the most popular pictures that has been modeled multiple times. The original image shows Lenin giving a speech to his troops in 1920. Leon Trotsky and Lev Kamarev, both members of the Bolsheviks, are seen standing on the stairs. When Trotsky was exiled, Kamarev joined Stalin's forces.
Gone. Remove the statues. Change the street names. There's no difference to what they are doing today than this. It's the same tactic. Erase them.
Why are Republicans joining in on this? Why are Republicans quiet? I don't understand. Why are conservatives quiet on this?
Well, we're not quiet. I
Yes,
mean,
but Governor
I don't
Abbott-
know. Well,
Abbott and-
maybe there's
and God knows
something
how
nefarious
many
going on
conservatives?
with. Maybe there's something nefarious going on with Governor Greg Abbott. We talked about that land. Maybe in his best interest to keep quiet. I almost feel like they're like, look, man, this is your thing. We got enough on our lap. We got enough on our plate. We're not being quiet. Why aren't other conservatives? I go on X, and a lot of the comments I've been seeing, I would say it's 70-30 in the comments. 70% people saying, where's the proof? This is what Democrats do. So I don't think that we're being quiet. I think that we're vocal, and I think that we're the majority of us are saying, look at how evil Democrats are. They'll erase you from history. And then there's the other 30%, which I assume are a bunch of millennials, Zoomers, leftists, and Democrats that are saying Epstein files, Trump's F file. Yeah, that woman is a hero. We should champion her. So no, I don't think the conservatives are quiet. I think they're actually voicing their opinion on social media. But why aren't
okay? How many conservative celebrities, politicians have you seen defending him? I haven't seen any. I haven't seen not one. And I've seen a lot of La Raza criticizing him.
Well, of course, they're La Raza. But has Kevin Sorbo, John Schneider, has Rob Schneider, has Dean Cain said anything? I'm not sure. I don't know. This just happened. But yeah.
I think what Trump should do is do a national holiday that they can't get rid of, a national holiday.
He probably will. Because he loves to piss them off. He probably will. I now declare this Cesar Chavez Day.
Chavez.
But why would he want to? I mean, you've got a whole half of the country calling him a PDF file. Why would he want? He's dealing with Iran. He's dealing with the economy. Why would he do it? But why would he want to?
What does that mean to you and me? It's replacement theory. We've been replaced just like that. Nobody wants to touch it. So it's gone. Caesar who? Caesar who? Just like that. We have been replaced.
As Latinos, the one guy that we had that was our hero, they get rid of. I want you Latinos who are American to remember this come the midterms.
Exactly.
This is what they do to you. If you cross them, if you say something that they don't agree with, they will end you. They will erase your existence.
This is a harbinger for all Americans, not just today it's Mexican Americans, not Mexican American heritage, history. But this is a harbinger for everybody in the United States. If you don't elect conservative people in the midterms, you're going to get open border Latinos. That is your enemy. That open border Latino, new Latino 25 and under, that is your enemy. He got rid of Cesar Chavez. He's going to get rid of you next. That's what he wants. And he votes Democrat.
Let's take a look at some more Stalin examples. This is interesting.
After years of following, he returned to his original roots in supporting Trotsky. They were both murdered by Stalin, and as a result, any photograph displaying Trotsky or Kamarev were manipulated. In this photograph, taken during the 14th annual party conference in 1925, it shows 9 very important men that will soon see their death. In another photograph published in 1939 and 1949, the group has lost 5 men. The picture has also been manipulated so that there were to be no gaps between the members. 60% of the participants of the night had been assassinated during Stalin's reign.
They lost a few people in that picture, didn't they? Yeah, man. The Democrats.
Vote like your life depends on it. The midterms. Vote. You do not want Democrats in power because a lot of their voter base is Latinos, and the new Latino hates you. He hates you. He waves the Mexican flag on American soil. That's him. He believes all women. That's him. He is your enemy.
You have the new Latino. You have the millennials. You have the Zoomers. You have the black Democrat who, as long as he gets a handout, he's going to vote Democrat. You have the white liberals, white liberal women in particular. They all want borders open. They will destroy this country.
That is the goal of every hardcore Democrat, the destruction of the United States. Latino, white, black, you name it. They want the destruction of the United States. That's it. If they can destroy Cesar Chavez, they can destroy you. Who are they coming after? Remember the BLM riots? They got rid of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Oh, yeah. Now Cesar Chavez? Yes, it's all about the destruction of the country if you don't vote.
Now,
it's up to you.
Let's see why this all started. Because I think this all started from that ex-post. Let's see what got Julio Cesar Chavez erased.
That put you in an uncomfortable position to be against the illegal immigrants because they are from Mexico. In other words, part of your program has been an appeal to equal treatment of people of Mexican origin. Right?
Oh yeah, sure, but we're speaking of the legal ones. You know, we don't want Mexico to export its poverty to us, and then we pay. It's not the agriculture, it's not society in general. It's a farm worker again paying for those sins. The citizen is out of a job because of the wetbacks. They're coming in by the thousands. Just unbelievable.
They're coming in by the thousands. I believe that this ex-post was the beginning, the genesis of all of this.
I think it was the straw that broke the camel's back, because those that knew him, like your mother, knew he was illegal immigration. This has been known for a long time for those who knew. But I think once that this post came out, that was a green light. That was it.
Yeah.
That was the green light. Go get him.
Well,
go get him.
And you have a big demographic of people, generally young people, who had no idea that this is how Julio Cesar Chavez felt. Let's look at another one.
Growing 220 wetbacks. These are the illegals from Mexico. Now, there's no way to defend against that kind of strike breaking, and so therefore the only way to win strikes is by then taking our fight to the citizens, to the people in the city especially, and have them help us boycott those products that we're striking, and we need that. And that's the only way we've been able to get contracts, and I venture to say that without that.
He was against illegal immigration.
Because he was an old-style union boss protecting his worker, his members. That's it. You don't have those union bosses anymore. Not like them. They're gone. It's all done by lawyers today. But those union bosses had to fight, and that scares this new millennial Xer Zoomer, whatever the fuck he is, Alpha.
Let's contrast.
A real man fighting a real man. That's scary.
Let's contrast the millennial Zoomer. Let's look at their fight in comparison to Julio Cesar Chavez's fight.
Day marked the start of new rules on what baristas are allowed to wear under those famous green aprons. The company requiring workers to wear plain black t-shirts and khaki, black, or blue denim bottoms. Starbucks Workers United, the union representing workers at 570 of Starbucks' 10,000 company-owned U.S. stores, says the dress code should be subject to collective bargaining. They filed a
dress code. They're bitching about a dress code. What's wrong with the green apron, a black t-shirt, and jeans?
You have to wear a coordinated uniform? And they're crying?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
They can't handle it?
They have a working toilet. They have air conditioning. They've got an 8-hour shift. They get their 30-minute breaks, and they're freaking out because they can't wear a nose ring and have purple hair, and they can't have tattoos on their face.
Filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board over the company's alleged failure to bargain.
Finding out last minute that you need to go out and purchase a brand new dress code that you can't afford, it's completely out of touch. Most of us are paycheck to paycheck. We can't afford to go out and buy new shoes, new pants.
Did you see this girl? Look at this girl.
Yeah,
look how she's dressed. She's
she
like
can
half
afford
naked.
to buy that, but you can't afford to buy clothes to cover
They're
yourself.
they're like so insensitive for not letting us wear a G-string and nipple tassels.
You can afford to get a nose ring to go to the tattoo shop and get tattoos, but you can't afford a $5 black T-shirt? Get away from me.
They're wearing the black T-shirt right here.
Afford to go out and buy new shoes, new pants, and new shirts. We need a livable wage. Talks were going great, and now they're not.
Because they're going to wash their hands of you. And you know what, Starbucks? That's your fault. You hired these people. You got into bed with these people.
Do you remember the Columbia anti-Jewish rallies that they had, and that girl went on the air? We want lattes with goat milk and oats and vegan lunches, taking over the campus. They're chasing the Jewish kids all over the campus, and they're making demands of goat milk and whatever the crap. Jesus Christ, heaven help us if they have to defend the country.
Let's look at another video.
50 Starbucks locations, including locations across St. Louis at Lindbergh and Clayton, Hanley and Dale, Hampton and Wise, and Kings Highway and Chippewa will be walking out due to a clash over the decor supporting LGBTQ plus causes, but the company denies it's banned any such displays. Workers United says store managers around the country have removed displays during Pride Month. In some cases, the union said managers told workers that Pride displays were a safety concern, citing recent incidents at Target where some angry customers tipped over merchandise and confronted workers. But Starbucks says it is not aware of any company-owned stores that have banned Pride decorations. Now, Starbucks has pushed back, saying that their stance and support of the LGBTQ plus community is unwavering.
They don't want a big rainbow flag in the doorway. It's their company.
This is what these sons of bitches are striking for now? These young, spoiled brats? Look at those working conditions of 70 years ago.
Yeah, no medical insurance, 80 cents an hour, dirt
and you're
floors.
erasing this guy's legacy because you live in luxury, you live in la la land, you live in fantasy world. Good God.
That's insane. It's insane. That's what the new generation is fighting for now. Now, if you look back in history, this isn't the first time this happened. There have been many instances in what I call the Me Too movement where you just believe the woman, regardless. And one of those times was, let's take a look at Mr. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
On this committee, any person in this room or any person in this country would like sleaze said about him or her in this fashion, or this dirt dredged up, and this gossip, and these lies displayed in this manner, how would any—
That's his wife behind him, correct?
person like it? The Supreme Court is not worth it. No job is worth it. I'm not here for that. I'm here for my name, my family, my life, and my integrity. I think something is dreadfully wrong with this country when any person in this free country would be subjected to this. This is not a closed room. There was an FBI investigation. This is not an opportunity to talk about difficult matters privately or in a closed environment. This is a circus. It's a national disgrace.
So this man was offered the job as a Supreme Court justice, and out of the woodwork comes a woman named Anita Hill who accused him of sexual assault, abuse.
And who brought Anita Hill? Joe Biden.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Anita Hill and what she has to say.
Agreed to take the job in large part because of my desire to escape the pressures I felt at the EEOC due to Judge Thomas. When I informed him that I was leaving in July, I recall that his response was that now I would no longer have an excuse for not going out with him. I told him that I still preferred not to do so. At some time after that meeting, he asked if he could take me to dinner at the end of the term. When I declined, he assured me that the dinner was a professional courtesy only, and not a social invitation. I reluctantly agreed to accept that invitation, but only if it was at the very end of a working day. On, as I recall, the last day of my employment at the EEOC in the summer of 1983, I did have dinner with Clarence Thomas. We went directly from work to a restaurant near the office. We talked about the work I had done, both at education and at the EEOC. He told me that he was pleased with all of it, except for an article and speech that I had done for him while we were at the Office for Civil Rights. Finally, he made a comment that I will vividly remember. He said that if I ever told anyone of his behavior, that it would ruin his career. This was not an apology, nor was it an explanation. That was his last remark about the possibility of our going out or reference to his behavior.
All right, where's the proof? Where's the proof? So Anita Hill says it and we all believe it?
If he was a serial harasser, I'm telling you, there would just be more than Anita Hill coming out of the woodworks. If he was a really sexually deviant person, he would be doing it to countless women.
What's the first
thing? It took
thing?
me a long time to wrap my head around Anita Hill. I remember these sessions. I saw them live, and she was well articulate. She's a lawyer. She's well groomed, and I'm like, why is she saying this? And then years later, I'm like, I don't believe the woman. I don't believe Anita Hill. But lots of people did. Lots of people to this day still do.
What's the first thing you do after a diet? Let's say, Boomer, that you fasted for 2 days for health reasons. And then as soon as you're done with that fast, you can eat whatever you want. What's the first thing you're going to do after that fast? Get yourself a big cheeseburger? Yeah, okay. Maybe a slice of pizza with all your favorite toppings on it. All right, well, people that abuse children, people that are serial rapists, they can't stop. So these people go to prison, and when they get out of prison, the first thing they do is they go out and they do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that Clarence Thomas only did this once? You're telling me that there's only one victim out there?
He's been on the bench for what, 40 years?
It's never happened since.
And it's nothing.
He wasn't the only justice. Do you remember Brett Kavanaugh?
Ooh, Ozzy Ford lady? He raped me or violated me. He violated me. You gotta edit that out. He violated me sometime between 1980 and 1984. Can't remember the in a schoolhouse at a sorority place that I can't remember where. Yeah, that lady.
Yeah, there was like a yearbook they found with some silly thing he wrote, and that was supposed to be proof that he was a rapist. Let's check this out.
Fueled with apparent pent-up anger about President Trump and the 2016 election, I will not be intimidated into withdrawing from this process.
Dude, don't cry.
My family and I intend no ill will toward Dr. Ford or her family. I am innocent of this charge.
Nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I am here because I believe it is my civic duty.
Did you consume alcohol during your high school years?
Yes, we drank beer.
You said that there were times in high school when people might have had too many beers on occasion. Does that include you?
Sure.
Have you ever passed out from drinking?
Passed out would be no, but I've gone to sleep, but I've never blacked out.
Why aren't you also asking the FBI to investigate these claims?
Senator, I'll do whatever the committee wants.
Turn to your left in the front row. To Don McGahn, counsel to President Donald Trump. Ask him to suspend this hearing and nomination process until the FBI completes its investigation.
Just ask the president to reopen the FBI investigation. Are you willing to ask the White House to do that and say yes or no, and then we can move on?
The witness testimony is before you. No witness who was there supports that I was there.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a no, and we can move on.
This committee.
Look who's asking the questions. Democrats.
Yeah.
Democrats. There's no proof.
Of all people, Democrats. How many
It's always-
balls has the Democratic Party put out?
It's always them.
Look how they're making him grovel and break down over allegations that are not even proven. Can you ask the FBI to investigate yourself as a pervert?
Yeah. Let's take a look at the infamous 2022 Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Johnny swings at her. I don't hesitate. I don't wait. I just, in my head, instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs, and I swung at him.
She was such a victim that she swung at him. You see that Oscar-winning Amber Heard performance?
But Johnny Depp is still alive. He can defend himself.
Yeah.
And he's got millions of dollars and plenty of lawyers to defend himself.
Millions of dollars and plenty of lawyers. Johnny Depp is the 1%.
Exactly.
The 1%.
You and I, the Joe Schmoes of the world that get accused of this crime, we're dead. Our lives are over. Look, our statues are taken down. Who's defending Cesar Chavez? No one. Not even his own family.
Well, you and me. That's pretty much it. So
his family, you read the family statements, we're in shock of the allegations, but the second paragraph has, that's not the father we knew. So
Right.
it's this half scared statement of, okay.
Yeah.
And this other half, I don't believe
Well,
it.
yeah. Okay, you just hit the nail on the head. Scared. What are they supposed to do? You've attacked them with no evidence. You're putting them in the position where if they deny this, then they don't believe victims. What do you want them to do? They're sitting there going, he's been dead 33 years. It's not like we can talk to him. What do you want them to have, a seance? Yeah, I mean, what can the family of Julio Cesar Chavez do?
Well, if you're the son or even the daughter, you got to come out swinging. How dare you talk my dad? My dad was a great man. That's what I would do. But
That's what I would do. But who knows? Are they afraid that they're not gonna get any more funding? I mean, do they run any political organizations? It might be in their best interests. It might be in their best survival instincts to keep their mouth shut. I don't know.
In California, you got to be a Democrat. You got to be with the Democratic machine, and they probably don't want to blow that.
Yeah, but they've been kicked out. They've been kicked out of the club. They've been banished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've been exiled.
Yep.
Let's look at some other shocking political scandals. I like this one.
President Bill Clinton, a.k.a. Slick Willie, left a stain, literally, on his legacy. And although he now pretends to be a dried-up raisin of a man, let me tell you, rumor has it Bill Clinton loved Chinese restaurants because he thought he was tasting cat. It started with Jennifer Flowers, who claimed a 12-year affair with Clinton while he was governor of Arkansas. 12 years of side coochie is crazy work. Paula Jones, accusing him of exposing himself in a hotel room. A case that cost him an $850,000 settlement. I think Bill was just trying to show her something, who knows. But that was just the warm-up. Kathleen Willey said he groped her in the Oval Office. Juanita Broderick accused him of outright rape in 1978. And let's not forget the Arkansas State Troopers, who swore they acted as Clinton's personal pimp squad, sneaking women into hotels when Hillary wasn't around. Even after leaving office, rumors swirled about a mystery mistress, nicknamed the Energizer, sneaking into his home. Love him or hate him, Bill Clinton's presidency wasn't just about economics or policy. It was about scandals, affairs, and whispers.
So we've been sitting here harping about evidence. Now, wasn't there a dress with a bunch of his DNA on it?
Monica Lewinsky, and he got caught lying, and
Now
he admitted
that's
it.
Now that's the DNA evidence that would be the smoking gun in the Julio Cesar Chavez case.
And there's plenty of pictures of him with Epstein and taking nude baths with the girls and at his island and all that stuff. But he does not get canceled because he feels your pain.
Because he's a Democrat. Now,
Son of a
that is
God,
the
but no, you
DNA
cancel
evidence.
a good man?
That is the DNA evidence I'm talking about. A dress with a bunch of DNA on it. And they don't have that. They don't have that on Julio Cesar Chavez. And if you don't have that, you've got nothing. Now, have you ever taken a shower
hang
with...
out with Jeffrey Epstein unless you're there to have sex with little girls.
Yeah, but even then, we need the proof. So, did you ever take showers with your father?
I'm going to have to say no.
Yeah, well...
I have to say no on that one.
My father passed away when I was a little kid, so I never had that experience. Let's talk about showers with Dad. Apparently there was this one woman who moved into a place and found Ashley Biden's diary. Let's take a look.
My family, their friend who owns a house down here in Palm Beach, was renting it out. I don't know how, but this is a while back. But anyway, a new renter moved in, and Ashley Biden was staying in this room, and they found her diary, all her clothes, luggage, pills. Anyway, diary is pretty crazy. I think it's worth taking a look at.
So they found a diary, Ashley Biden's diary. And in that diary, I've got a picture of it. Let's take a look. So, and showing the boys my underpants, hypersexualized at a young age. What does this do? Was I molested? I think so. She says, I don't remember specifics, but I do remember trauma. I remember not liking the Wheelzak's house. I remember somewhat being sexualized with Caroline. I remember having sex with my friends at a young age and showers with my dad. Probably not appropriate. Yeah, this page, this writing from this diary, that is a far cry than the letter that little girl wrote, Julio Cesar Chavez. You
And
can't
that
even
got
compare
buried
the
by the
two.
New York Times. Gee, I wonder. Well, I
Well,
don't understand.
after James O'Keefe came out with it, they raided his house and threw him in jail and confiscated all of his things. But anyways, look, man, we've gone on way too long.
You've gone on way too long.
We've gone on way too long. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that alert button. Price is king. Boomer, you have any last words?
Do it for little Maria, so she can get some frijoles in her stomach. She'll eat with more subscribers. She says to me, I'll have a bowl of soup if you get 200 subscribers.
Yeah, she's fasting until we get a bunch of subscribers. All right. Cesar Chavez. BVX. Out.